brochure, marketing flyers, pamphlets and company catalogues. We also provided business cards and general printing services. Over time, we moved into book publishing as digital technology and expansions in the market gave us the skills to enter the market. Currently, we're equipped to provide highest quality publishing at an extremely competitive price. Our current capacity is more than 100 million pages per year.
So, Anne, have you understood everything? Would you like to sum up what Mr. Richardson has said?
Me?
Yes. Could you?
Oh, all right. I'll try. Established in 1985 by Charles Emerson, Montex has successfully grown and adapted to changing client needs. In 2000, the company transferred to Rodney Road, where, thanks to cutting-edge equipment capable of high volume, it has optimized its production and extended its offerings, specializing in the publishing sector. Currently, it provides top-quality printing at extremely attractive pricing.
Well done, Anne. You have a great ability to summarize. You know, Mr. Richardson, we aren't very pleased with our current typographers. They don't meet deadlines.
Professionalism, efficiency and punctuality are the keys to our success. Do you know that in just a few years the number of Montex clients has grown by 100%?
And what sort of printing do you principally use?
Digital printing and offset printing in the case of high-density needs.
What? Offset printing?
Young lady, you work for a publishing house and you don't know what offset printing is?
No, sir. I'm afraid I don't. Is it important?
Anne, offset printing is the classic way in which a graphic project done on a computer is converted to the final printed page.
I get it. I get it. Well, it is important. It's extremely important. What an idiot I must seem. I basically told you I have no technological know-how. You know, Mr. Stevens, I am studying the editor's manual that you gave me, but I haven't got to the letter O yet.
Hello and welcome to the first English Today Business DVD.
In our new story, On the Job, you'll meet two young career girls, and with them you'll learn about company life and the language you use in the workplace.
In each DVD, there's a program that focuses on job skills and describes modern business strategies that will help you to be successful at work.
In this DVD, there are 5 episodes of On the Job, followed by the business skills program that looks at brainstorming techniques.
Then we'll look at how to talk about work, how to describe a company, its organization and its development. Finally, we'll look at how to talk about markets.
So, enjoy your viewing.
Hello and welcome to your first Business English lesson, where we will start to study the English you need for your job. In this first lesson, we will learn the names of different professions. For example, I'm a teacher. And then we'll learn to ask certain questions related to jobs. But first, let's go and join Anne and Victoria. Victoria works for a company called Spectre. She's in her office writing a report for her boss, and she's very bored. She's unhappy with her job. She'd really like to work in a publishing house. But first, let's meet Anne, who is going for an interview for an internship in the publishing house. She's going to meet Mr. Stevens, the director. Let's go and listen to them. So in that scene, you saw Mr. Richardson talking about the history of his company. Now, to help you understand the language, I would like to talk to you about my brother, because he has a company of his own, which he opened in 1993. And it's really interesting, because one day when he was in a cafe with a friend of his, he had an idea. They were sitting at a table, and between them they had an object, something like this. It was transparent with petals inside it. And he thought, well, wouldn't it be fantastic if they could fix that idea? So what he did is he designed a prototype. This is the example. And he made the first prototype of plexiglass. And you can see inside there are real natural objects in the plexiglass. Then he did some market research to see if people would like objects like this. And he found some potential customers. So then he looked for some suppliers, people who would sell him the plexiglass. Then he needed the money. So he asked some banks for financial support, and he set up, or he established, a company. He formed a partnership with his friend, and then he invented a name. Now, the name of the company is Decorit. So it's decor, which is like decoration, eat, which is eat, Decorit. Then he rented an office, he hired a secretary for administration, and he launched the first product. Now, that was in 1993, and the company has now developed a lot. And let's look on the screen, because it's interesting. When you talk about company history, you use the simple past tense. But when you talk about how a company develops, we move into the present perfect. Now, let's look at the screen and see how my brother's company has developed. Well, the company has grown. It has expanded. And the sales has increased a lot. Sales have increased a lot. Now, they needed more people, so they have taken on new staff. Probably about 7 or 8 new people. Then equipment. They have purchased new equipment because there's more production. Then the product range has developed. It has diversified, so you have more types of product than before. This was the prototype, and these are other examples. This plate here is another example of the products they have developed. So, product range has developed. Then the client base, well, they have increased now, and they have more distributors. That's good. The market now has extended from England to the whole of Europe. And as you see, investment, they have invested more in advertising and promoting the products. Then they've moved to bigger offices, the premises are much larger, and they have opened a subsidiary in France. So the company is doing really well. So that's some of the language to talk about company history and how a company expands. Good. That's the lesson for now, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye. Good. Now, let's look at company organization. As I said before, companies are usually divided into departments. So let's look at some different departments in a large organization. For example, you can have human resources. Now, human resources is usually personnel, it's training. Training is like education, and it's wages and salaries. Human resources. Another department is finance. Now, in finance, you usually have the areas of purchasing, which is buying things, also customer accounts and other financial services. The next department is production. Now, in this particular department, you have producing the goods, you check the quality, you do the packaging, and you distribute the goods to customers. That's production. And the last one we're going to look at is marketing. And in marketing, you advertise the product and you organize sales. So, here they are: human resources, finance, production, and marketing. Now it's your turn. I am going to describe some activities in these departments, and you must decide which of the department the activity is in, okay? I'll give you an example. For example, which department recruits staff? Recruits, that's a difficult verb, takes on staff. Which one? Human resources, finance, production, marketing. Exactly, human resources. Now, you go. Which department creates an image? Creates an image. Marketing. Good. Next one. Which department manufactures and produces the goods? Oh, it's easy. Production. All right. Next one. Which department, very important, pays salaries? Salaries. Human resources, exactly. Next one. Which of these departments packs the goods in boxes and in crates? Which packs the goods? Packaging. Marketing, no. Production, exactly, it's production. All right. Next one. Which of these prepares invoices? Now, do you know invoices? Invoices are like the bills that you send to customers or suppliers. Which one? That's a job for finance. Exactly. Next one. Which department checks the quality of the goods? The quality? Marketing? No. Production. That's it. Good. Next one. Who trains the staff? Who teaches the staff? Who organizes courses? Yeah. Human resources. All right. Now, who dispatches the products? Dispatches, that sends the products. Which one? It is production, actually. It's production. This is easy. Which one designs an advertising campaign? An advertising campaign, obvious. Marketing. Okay. Who does the budget, taxes, and investment? Clear, yeah? That's finance. Finance department, taxes. Now, who purchases? That's a difficult verb. Who purchases? That means buys. Who purchases supplies? Who purchases things for the company? Which one do you think? Marketing, production, human resources? Well, actually, it's finance. Finance. They purchase. And the last one, who plans the method of sales? The method of selling it to the public. Human resources, finance, production, marketing? Marketing. Fantastic. So good. So there you have an idea of 4 of the most important departments that you find in large organizations. Well, that's all for now, and I look forward to seeing you in the next DVD for some more Business English. So goodbye for now.
We're meeting here today to show Mr. Chang our new Smarty tennis shoes. These innovative shoes are made of high-quality materials and are perfect for the Southeast Asian market, which, as we all know, is expanding rapidly. We're especially interested in the Chinese market, which is growing at a pace much faster than the rest of the world. Excuse me for a moment. Henry? Hi. I'm sorry, but I'm in a meeting right now. Let's talk later, okay?
All right, tell me, but hurry up. No, Henry, I never told John he could watch TV all day. He must have misunderstood. All I said was that he can watch all the TV he wants, but only after doing his homework. This really isn't the right moment, Henry. I'm sorry. Can we continue this conversation later on this evening? Pardon the interruption. Now, as I was saying...
Excuse me, Victoria, but do you think this is the right product for the Chinese market? I think that before we export Smart in the Southeast Asian market, we need to take a close look at the local competition and the market's tasters in the sector.
Excellent observation, Paul. We've actually already done market research, and as Mr. Chang can confirm, demand for sporting goods in China has grown by 50% over the past 10 years. Far Eastern consumers are increasingly interested in the latest fashion. They have become the most demanding consumers of fashion and quality in the world. Isn't that right, Mr. Chang?
Oh, yes. Your fashions have reached our shores. Fashion is law, especially for young consumers. In fact, purchases are driven more by trends than by the actual products.
And what about the competition, Victoria? It's a well-known fact that labor costs are lower in China, and the shoes produced in China are much more cost-competitive than in Europe.
Right again, Paul. However, our shoes are manufactured with high-quality materials that target an upper-level segment of the market. This market segment is quite happy to spend more on products that are well-equipped, last longer, and are of a higher quality.
Do you have any data on how Smarty sales are going in Europe and in the States?
Yes. Our marketing department sent me the latest report just this morning, and I'm happy to say it's very encouraging. Smarty has become one of our most successful products of the last few years. Demand is growing exponentially, and the satisfaction level of these shoes is much higher than that of similar shoes produced by other companies. In fact, Smarty shoes are considered one of the most durable, the most functional, and, most importantly, the most popular amongst the youth market.
And what about the distribution? It's a very important aspect that we shouldn't underestimate.
Yes, Mr. Chang is here to help clarify this issue for us.
It is extremely important to have a detailed distribution and promotion plan. We've also got to create a reputable chain of agents to distribute our products over the widest possible area. This, in turn, will help us make importation easier and reduce taxes for entry into the Chinese market. Look, I'm very happy to provide you with any information you may need, as well as contacts inside the Ministry of Industry and the Chamber of Commerce. But, of course, success depends on your goals, your strategy, and the type of financing plan you're willing to provide.
And besides that... Oh, excuse me yet again. John, what do you want? I told Dad I'm in an important meeting. No, John, I didn't say that. First do your homework, and then you can watch TV, okay? And listen to me. I don't care if your friends aren't studying today just because it's a holiday tomorrow. Do you understand? Tomorrow we're going to see your grandparents, so you have to study today. That's enough of this story, John. No, that's not true. I'm a good mother, and I love you. But it doesn't mean I don't have the right to tell you what to do. Listen, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Goodbye. Pardon me, just a little domestic problem.
Oh, yes, Mrs. Lee. We all know that kids cause more problems than work.
You're right, Mr. Chang. Kids, anyone who understands them is a genius.
So in that scene, there were some examples of the language we use when we talk about markets. To help us understand that language more, let's go to the computer and see it. So, if a company wants to go into a new market, we talk about it as entering a market or even penetrating a market. Now, if a market has been there for a while, we say that the market is established or it's well established. But often, markets change. If they improve, we talk about the market situation growing or increasing. But if the opposite happens, we say that the market shrinks. It's shrinking or it's decreasing. However, if we find a change which is uneven, we say that the market is fluctuating, that it's changing. Or, if there is no change, we talk about the market as being stable. If the market is full and there is no more room to promote or sell your product as a company, we say that the market is saturated. So those are the typical words that we use when we describe markets. Now, also in the scene that we saw with Victoria, they talked a lot about China and Europe, the difference between the two areas. Now, China is an important country which is coming up. And what I'd like to do now is to revise the comparatives and superlatives, in particular the comparatives, and look at the difference between those two markets, Europe and China. Let's look at the screen to help us. Here. Now, if we think about market growth, in general, market growth in China at the moment is faster. In Europe, it's slower. Labour costs. Labour costs, what's that? That is the cost of people working. Well, in China, as we know, the labour costs are definitely lower. In Europe, they're higher. What about market demand? Well, at the moment, the demand for new products and services in China is much greater than in Europe. In Europe, it's less. Production costs, another thing, well, it's cheaper to produce in China also because labor costs are lower. In Europe, it's more expensive. So many companies are moving to China for that reason. How about production time? Well, usually it's much shorter. It takes less time to produce in China than it does in Europe, where it's longer. But what about high tech? Well, usually high tech in China is less advanced than it is in Europe. Europe is still more advanced. That might change, though. And then design. Well, I would say that in China the situation is more traditional, whereas in Europe we are still more innovative. We're more innovative. So that's an example of how you can compare different world markets. Great. Well, thank you, and I'll see you in the next lesson for something new. Bye.
Hello, and welcome to Business Talk, the program dedicated to talking about business skills and techniques.
Today's programme is all about brainstorming, a very popular conference technique designed to obtain the maximum number of ideas relating to a specific subject.
In a bit, Lucy and I will give a short demonstration so you can see what it is all about. But first of all, what does brainstorming mean? And why is it used? Well, people put their ideas together with the aim of finding a solution to a specific problem.
Exactly. It's a group activity. All the members suggest ideas and their contributions then stimulate new ideas.
And the first rule is any idea is acceptable. Sometimes it's the most outrageous idea that can help generate a solution to the problem.
The ideal number of people for a brainstorming meeting is from 3 to 8. Too many people could get a bit out of hand.
Well, even 8 people calling out ideas and making comments could get chaotic, so it's useful to have a facilitator, a person who doesn't contribute but keeps this session on course and records the ideas on a flip chart.
And although this is a common technique used in the corporate world, you might be surprised to know that during a brainstorming meeting, all hierarchy and roles disappear. The philosophy behind this strategy is to create a real sense of democracy within the group, so that everyone feels their opinions are valued.
Now, There are certain principles to follow so that brainstorming works well. But before we look at these, let's do a little brainstorming so you actually see how it works.
OK, now